Hey everybody, Chris here. Today I'm going to discuss an antique piano. This is a Wing & Son piano, and it has a very beautiful cabinet, very ornately carved, and you'll see companies online selling these things for, I've seen them for $30,000 to $50,000. And so one came in my shop, and I thought, well, let's take a look on the inside. And so this is one of those things where the rebuilder did not do a very good job at all. And so this video is kind of what to look for on the inside of a piano to know if it's any good or not. And despite the beautiful cabinet. So let's take a look on the inside and check it out. Now, as I said, this is a Wing & Son. And Wing & Sons were fabulous uprights. They're the ones with the 5 pedals. As you can see, there's only one left down there. And so I was always really excited to get one of these because, I wanted to look at the attachments. It's got a mandolin attachment that I've always liked, where the button or the bead bounces on the string and gives it a nice shimmering effect. And the catalog in these instruments claim that this instrument could make the sound of a harp, guitar, mandolin. And so really wanted to take a look and see how it was all put together. And their construction was fantastic, and the design is fantastic. The scale's great, and the craftsmanship on the cabinet is just extraordinary. This would cost a fortune today, having something like that made. So anyways, this piano came from another rebuilder in Tennessee, and just didn't do this instrument any justice. Did a very terrible job. And so let's just check out some of the things to look for when you're shopping for a piano, even from a rebuilder. So first thing I noticed here is the hammers. It looks like there's 2 sets of hammers. That this was just, it's not even a one true set. It's 2 sets or something. I don't know. I'm not sure what they did. Maybe they just sandblasted from here down and left those alone, but looks like 2 different woods. So that's suspicious right off the get-go. The Honky Tonk that was on here, it's a piece of felt hanging down. It's got a ring on it, and when you hit the hammer, it hits that little ring and makes it give that honky tonk sound. Well, on this instrument, here, I'll go over here to this bench here. This honky tonk was installed very poorly. These things move. They were never attached or glued or fastened properly. They just made an aluminum rail and put these little loops on there, and they would never really stay in place. So I'm not even sure how they thought that would work. Since I got the pedals here, the pedals are not original. These right here, this might be an original one. And these 2 might be original, but these 2 are not original. So it looks like either pedals were broken off and they replaced with something else, and I don't think they got all 5 pedals to work right. A lot of the mechanism is missing. So just have to scratch that off. Now, here's a big one. These machine bolts going through the plate right here, in several places over here. That is a sign that the back frame is separating, or that the plate is coming off the back frame. So that leads one to look at the back frame. So upon close inspection back here, they added battens to support across this joint right here. There's a joint that goes across there, all the way across. And this was tilting forward from the posts. And you can see a big gap right there, maybe. Let's see here. Let's find one where we can see the gap right there, there's the gap. There's not supposed to be no gap there. So the top is separating from the bottom. And they tried to fix that by just putting battens across here. And there's like 1,000 drywall screws in each batten. At least they used oak. But even the tension of the strings and the forces bent those battens. So it was not a very good repair. So it turns out, when looking further, there's supposed to be nose bolts supported about halfway to the beam. There's supposed to be a couple nose bolts. Actually, this one could have probably had 3 originally. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but right in here, there's a hole where a nose bolt is supposed to come through and support. And what those nose bolts do is support the center of the frame. I mean, even these things are cast iron, these plates, they flex. So they need to be supported. Well, all the middle supports are gone, and that's why it pulled the back frame apart. And on an upright, repairing that back frame is very costly. And so it kind of just really destroys the piano. And then another thing I noticed here is there's a lot of Ivory Repairs. These ivories are not repaired very well. You can see the joints and the keys don't line up. This is all crooked off from there. I peeled one off here, a couple off here, to see how strong the glue was they used. And you can see that the key's dirty. And what they did is they used a couple drops of super glue. And that's just not the right glue to use. And it don't last that long. And they always end up just popping off. Here you can, I don't know if it shows up on the camera, but you can see through the ivories. Usually the right way to glue ivories is use a glue that has a white pigment in it, or some kind of pigmented layer you glue on first, a wafer, and then glue the key top on. So the white underneath the keys is necessary. Otherwise, like here, I can see where they glued. I can see the wood. You can see through them, and they don't look very good. So none of these were done very well. So as I said, the trap work, they used 2x4s like you would get from Home Depot, construction 2x4. So a soft wood, and when it probably should be hardwood. And it looks like the bridge cap at one time was separated, and they just glued those on with drywall screws. They really like drywall screws over there, I guess. So that's some things to look for when you're looking at an antique piano. And you know, there's cracks in the soundboard. Those could have been there before. Maybe they were fixed, maybe they weren't. So anyways, there's a piano that went through a rebuilding process that wasn't successful, but it sure has a beautiful cabinet. Alright, I hope you found this video useful. Thank you very much.